I'm gonna remute you guys. Mute. Okay. Okay, perfect. It is the hour of 10 a.m. So let's come to the top of the mat. I like to get the mat lined up with the slats of wood. It's just the only thing in my life that feels organized, so I take it where I can get it. Let's bring the hands together. Shoulders down the back, chest lifting. But don't let that bring you into a back bend. So stay lifted in the low belly, as if your pubic bone is angling up toward your belly button. And see if you can find the strength and stability in this pose, but also somehow relax. And on your next exhale, lower the arms. Inhale to reach up, look at the thumbs. Exhale, fold forward. You can bend the knees if you want. Halfway up, inhale. And let's just step to plank for the exhale. Straight arms, straight legs. Stay here for the inhale. Downward dog for the exhale. We'll return to plank for the inhale. We're just going to go back and forth between those 2 points. Exhale, push into your fingers. Armpits toward legs. Inhale, return to plank. Keep your forearms squeezing toward each other the whole time. And notice how your shoulders rotate and how you have to work harder to get them to keep rotating in downward dog. It's pretty easy to have them in that position in plank, but as you press back, you have to actively externally rotate your arm. The next time that you're in plank, on your exhale, go to chaturanga. And complete your vinyasa with an inhale, upward facing. And we'll meet in downward facing. This time we'll stay there. And just shake out the head. The belly will just hollow out on its own if you can relax a little bit. If someone were to punch you in the gut, you'd get real tense and your muscles would activate immediately. So in down dog, it's pretty much the opposite of that. Complete relaxation in the belly. After your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale when you get there. Fold, exhale. Rise all the way up. Inhale. And let's fold again for the exhale. Hands to the floor. Halfway up, inhale. And step to plank again, exhale. This time down dog B. So we'll exhale to lower the elbows down. And we'll return to straight arm plank, inhale. So it's the same breath pattern that you had before. And it is the same shoulder rotation that you have to be aware of. It's just a little bit harder. If you feel like it's too much for you, just repeat the straight arm version that we were doing previously. And notice how your ankles are helping you here. They're pulling you back, they're pushing you forward, so that your elbows can land and lift simultaneously with the right and left. We're going to meet in down dog B. Whenever you get there, it's perfect timing. And just see if you can stay there and have that same relaxed belly, have that same relaxed neck, but also be pushing your fingers down with such intensity that they don't slide together. They stay right where they were. Let's re-straighten the arms. After your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale at the top. Fold, exhale. Rise all the way up. Inhale. And fold again, exhale. Halfway up, inhale. We'll step to plank for the exhale. This time it'll be a little worse. Chaturanga for the next exhale. Take your time. Inhale to upward facing. We're going to return to chaturanga. And we're just going to go back and forth between these two places, upward facing and chaturanga. So your arms might get a little tired. We won't do it forever. But notice how your feet are working. They're always helping you stay lifted through the knees. After your next upward dog, just press to downward dog and rest. If down dog is not restful, just do something else for a moment. Okay, after the next exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale when you get there, and fold, exhale. Rise all the way up, inhale, and let's lower the arms, exhale. I'm just gonna step back a little bit because I don't know where the camera thing ends. We're gonna rise, lift the arms, Utkatasana, bend the knees, and then rise up onto the balls of the feet. So you're on a bit of a releve, and you decide how high you go. Take one more breath there. And then just gently lower your heels to the floor again. Straighten the legs as you fold, exhale. Halfway up, inhale. And step or jump chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Right leg up to the ceiling. Just stay here. Possibly circle your ankle a time or two. If you make it a really big circle, you'll even feel a stretch in your shin muscles. Go the other direction. And let's step that right foot between the hands. High lunge for an inhale. Reach up. And warrior two for the exhale. We're going to go back and forth between those two places. Inhale, you just spin on the ball of the foot so the hips are square. Exhale, you spin the back heel down, hips face the long edge. Two more times, just back and forth. And that front leg is staying exactly straight where it was, very stable. After your fourth round, hands down and vinyasa. You can always skip the vinyasas and meet us in downward dog. We'll lift the left leg up high. Circle the ankle. Now the other direction. And when you're ready, step that foot forward so the toes line up with your fingers, more or less. High lunge, inhale. So it's a pretty long stance. Exhale, open it up, facing the long edge. Inhale, facing the short edge. Exhale. Two more times. Last time. We'll meet in that high lunge and cycle through a vinyasa. Take your time and make wise choices. We'll just meet in down dog B. Not down dog B, sorry, down dog A. Straight arms. Let's lift the heels high and spin them to the right. So all 10 toes face the left. Bend into the right knee so you have all that weight in the left foot. And just stretch to the left side of the body, the waist, the ribs. And keep making it look like a down dog shape. So you're still pressing your chest back. And swing the heels up and over to the other side. Then the right leg is straight, the left knee bends. Pretty hard to work the fingers in this way, but it's helpful to us in both the stretch and in that strength building. Let's bring the heels to a nice normal downward dog, which would mean that you can't see your heels. They're hiding behind your 3 middle toes. That would always be true in a parallel foot. After your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale when you get there, and fold, exhale. Bend into the knees. Utkatasana. I'm just backing up again, but you don't have to. This time we're going to put our hands on the floor, 12 inches in front of the toes. Keep the knees and feet together and just come to the balls of the feet and bring your weight forward. Then bring your weight back again into the heels, and then forward into the hands. So it's like you're coming onto releve just for a moment. And when you do, when your heels get off the ground, notice how your fingers catch. And you can even stare at your fingers as you do this. There will be a moment where you're leaning so far forward that they automatically catch. You don't even have to think about it, because they're not going to want you to fall on your nose. They're going to protect you. Okay, next time you're rocking on your heels, lift the arms, Utkatasana, and then fold to straight legs, exhale. Halfway up, inhale, and to Chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Right leg to the ceiling, inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. High lunge, inhale. And warrior two, exhale. We're just gonna straighten the front leg, inhale. And bend it again, exhale. Just 2 more times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. See if you can keep your triceps engaged. Okay, the next time your knee is bent, just lower the hands and make a choice, vinyasa or downward dog. Once you get to downward dog, lift your left leg high and curl in, step forward, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Warrior two, exhale. Straighten the front leg and bend. And straighten and bend. Arms engaged, one more time. Okay, and hands to the floor. Step back, vinyasa or not. And let's again come to the forearms. So as you're lowering your elbows down, go real slow. You can even look forward and see what's happening. You're gonna have to squeeze your elbows in as you bring them all the way down. And like we did before, lift your heels high, spin them to the right, so your toes face the left, and bend that right knee. So we're in that same pose we were before, but now we're on the forearms. The stretch is different, and you have to work different. Let's bring it up and over, but the breath stays constant. Keep pressing the chest toward the legs, and bring the heels up so that they can lower to normal down dog heels, parallel feet. Start to straighten the arms. The more you push your chest towards your legs, the easier it is to get the right and left arm to lift at the same time. And after your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale there at the top of the mat. And exhale, fold. Bend into the knees, inhale. And let's bring our hands down again. I'm gonna scoop back again. We're just gonna do this one more time, that rocking forward thing, but this time we're gonna put our knees on our arms. So as high up as you can, or into your armpits if you want. You're just gonna let your feet propel you forward until you feel your fingers catch and you're in bakasana. But we're not gonna stay in bakasana, we're just gonna rock back and forth. So onto the heels, it will feel very much like a squat, and then into your bakasana. And see if as you're doing this, just back and forth at whatever pace suits you, see if you can get your arms a little bit straighter when you're in bakasana. That would require leaning forward a little bit more. And it's scary, so that's why we don't always do it. One more round, and then we're going to meet in Utkatasana. Feel steady on the ground, arms will come up, take your time, and fold to straight legs. Inhale, halfway up, and vinyasa, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Right leg up, inhale, and step to the hands, exhale. High lunge, inhale, to warrior two, exhale. Let's take the hands to the hips. I'm just gonna do a little swiveling around thing, and just pull the left hip back a little bit and push the right hip forward so that they're more facing the long edge of the mat. But notice as you do that, this right knee wants to come forward. So press it back just with the power of your mind. Reach out. Keep the hips doing that. Paschimattanasana. Hand can come down, or you can bind, or your forearm could be on your thigh. Okay, release the left fingers down and the back knee down. So we're in Anjaneyasana, hands to the front thigh. Push the knee forward, chest up, and just sink the hips down.
Hey, Carol, can you mute yourself? Because otherwise your video keeps interrupting. Thanks so much.
Good. Okay, let's step back, vinyasa. And from downward dog, lift the left leg up high. And let's bring it forward to the hands. High lunge, inhale. To warrior two, exhale. And again, I'm gonna jump around. Hands to the hips. So now our right hand is pulling, right hip back. We're gonna push the left hip forward. And this knee can't drop in. So as you're doing this, you should still be able to see your left big toe if you look forward. If the knee is blocking your view, your hip needs to work a little bit harder. When you can, arms out. And keep all that you've established, Purvatanasana. Then if your hand is on the floor, you could push your knee into your arm. It's just a good reminder. If you're in a bind or some such thing, you're just gonna push your knee back. Okay, and we'll slowly lower right fingers down, right knee down, hands walk up to the thigh. Back toes could be tucked or not. See how it feels. You need to do something with that back foot that's gonna let you keep bringing your right hip forward. If your hips start to face at a diagonal, your back foot needs to pay more attention. Okay, and when you can, hands down, vinyasa. Let's just bring our feet about to the middle of the mat, feet together, knees together, and squat. If it hurts in any way to have all of this close together, you could be wide like this, toes like dangling off the edges of the mat. Or you could even be here, elbows on the thighs. Okay, so your back is rounded. You didn't even have to think about it. We're just gonna go back and forth from a tripod to a bakasana, but we're gonna keep our arms glued to our legs. And it'll just be a back and forth maybe like 5 or 8 times. That might sound like too many, we'll see. So knees to the upper arms. In your bakasana, you did this already, arms straight, leaning forward, looking forward. Then bend the elbows and drop the head to the floor. Then start to lift your head again. Straighten the arms, look forward. Squeeze your legs so that you don't slip off of your arms. And just go back and forth at your pace. I'm gonna take a little look-see as you guys do this. Good, make sure that you lean forward. Miss Bloom, go to forearm plank if you need a wrist break. Good. Okay, we are doing all right. So the exit can be either to your squat or to a vinyasa. We're going to meet in downward dog. And when you get to down dog, right leg high, inhale. And step forward to the hands, exhale. Warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Let's interlace the fingers behind the back. Exhale. Lift the chest, straight arms. Inhale. And fold any amount. Exhale. Try to bring your shoulder inside of your knee. You can drop your head. Some of you, your head will go toward the floor, right by the arch of your foot. Each inhale, reach your fingers a little further away from you, and each exhale, a little bit more down. Okay, slowly let that go. Hands to the floor. Exhale, step back, bend the elbows. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Other side, left leg can come up, and we step it forward. High lunge, or sorry, I think we went right into warrior one. And interlace the fingers. Chest up, arms straight, inhale, and fold, exhale. Now drop your head, relax your neck. You have a great view of your back leg and your back foot. Make sure you still have an arch in your back foot. The outer edge of that back foot is pushing down as if you're standing just straight on it. Okay, slowly release, hands down. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Right leg up, inhale. And just come about 3/4 of the way forward. And let's straighten both legs. Purvatanasana without the arms. So we're just folding, head toward right shin. You might feel something in your hamstring. Okay, hands to the hips, rise up, inhale. And take a prayer either in front of your chest or behind your chest, whichever suits you. Once you're there, elbows back, chest is gonna lift. Lean forward again, this time a little bend in your front leg for warrior three with this hand variation. So we'll lift the back leg up and keep reaching the chest forward. Let's return to where we started. Bend the right knee enough to get that left foot down. And let's keep our arm position and fold. If you're in prayer in front and it's in your way, because you're folding that deep, just interlace your fingers behind your back and take your knuckles overhead. Okay, slowly release whatever fingers you have and step back, vinyasa. And we'll go for the other side. Left leg up and step it 3/4 of the way. Purvatanasana, heels line up. Back foot is turned about 45 degrees. Hands can be anywhere for right now. If you have cotton pants on, it's a great place to wipe the sweat from your face onto your leg. Okay, hands to the hips. Try to keep the hips square. Rise up. You might need to push the right hip forward a little bit. And then reverse prayer or regular prayer into warrior three legs. So we lean forward a little bit, chest forward. That right leg is going to inter-rotate as you lift it up. So pretend that the inseam of your right pants want to rise toward the ceiling. We'll return to the Purvatanasana stance. If you're in reverse prayer, keep reaching your elbows toward each other. Keep both legs straight, even if that means your head is not touching your leg. And slowly release your hands and step back, vinyasa. Right leg high, inhale. Step all the way forward, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Into warrior two for triangle pose. Straighten the front leg, reach out, and lower the hand. If you want a shorter stance, just scoot your back foot in a little bit. It's a lot easier to move the back foot than the front foot. So let's bring this top arm behind the head, kind of where the neck meets the head, base of the skull, and get your forearm to just drop alongside your head so you can actually see your elbow in the periphery of your vision. And just start to plug that arm into the socket, lean back a little bit, and press your head into your hands so that it's all moving as one unit. Lift the arm up again, Ardha Chandrasana. Slide that right fingers forward, launch onto the right leg, and keep plugging the arm into the socket, the left shoulder back, the left ribs back. If you can, you're looking at your top thumb. Let's untwist and step back to Anjaneyasana. So that left foot comes down and then the knee. And we were here before, so we'll just make it a little bit deeper. We're just gonna scoop the back knee back, maybe 12 inches. So it's kind of a longer version. You might need your thumbs, or thumb in the right hip crease and thumb kind of underneath your left butt cheek to maneuver your hips to square. So use your hands however you need. Press your right heel into the floor and try to drag your heel back toward you, even though it's not going to go because you're on a sticky mat. Okay, slowly get out of there. Scoot yourself forward enough that you can step back and lower down. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale. There is a leap forward, 2 inches outside my door. I can hope that Zoom is not picking that up. Okay, left leg up high. Inhale. Step forward, exhale. High lunge, inhale. To warrior two, exhale. To straighten the left leg for triangle pose. When you feel stable, right hand behind the head. And if your elbow is pointing up, it's going to be real hard to get this shoulder in the socket. So drop the elbow. Your forearm just alongside your head. Then arm in the socket is super easy. You can press that right shoulder back more, right ribs back, head back. And then your legs get the joy of working really hard to prevent you from falling back. Okay, reach up again. Lean into your balance. Stand on that left foot. If you can, look up at your right thumb. And do that same leaning back that you did in triangle. Okay, so we'll meet in Anjaneyasana. When you can, you square to the front and step back. Gently place the knee. So even with this positioning of knee and foot, we're trying to drag our hips forward. So back your right knee up a little bit, and it's still the same thing. This front foot is trying to drag our hips forward. It's just a lot harder now. So whatever you need to do with your hands. I'm trying to right now push the right hip forward and push the left hip down. So it's not so much back with the left hip as it is down toward the floor. Okay, so when you've had enough of such things, scoot yourself forward and up to vinyasa. And we'll meet in downward dog. When you can, bring the right leg into pigeon. We'll be in pigeon a few times, so no need to get aggressive with this one. But we are going to be upright, which you might not like. It might require that your right foot is closer to your left hip if you're going to be upright. So make all of those accommodations. And when you can, bring your hands to your hips and squeeze your elbows toward each other. And find that lift in your low belly. Pubic bone moving up toward your belly button. And place the hands and step back, downward dog. Other side, left leg forward. I'm just going to close this and hope it makes some sound go away. It didn't really do much, but. All right, so take your time finding your spot. It might be that there's a lot of weight in your fingers, in which case maybe you don't want to put your hands on your hips. You could also do right hand to foot, left hand to thigh. It's kind of like a middle ground. Hands on the hips is a little bit more leg control. Elbows back, chest up. And let's release the hands, vinyasa or downward dog. Okay, let's bring the right foot forward. Lower the back heel so it's kind of like warrior two legs, but put both hands big toe side of the foot. We're just going to hang out for a moment, make sure everything works. Okay, straighten your right leg as much as you can. We're going to walk the hands to the edge of the mat. So we're in no man's land here. Palms are on the mat, fingers are off the edge. As we bring our hands forward again, we're going to bend the knee and dive that shoulder underneath. So we end up here. And just try that a few times. Hands to the side, legs straight. And then as you bend the knee, dive that shoulder under. And this will just help you get your shoulder far enough under the leg that it's sort of notched in there with the calf muscle. When you can, arms out to the side. Keep the hips up so that you have an easier chance at getting your shoulder down under that knee. And if this is going well, bind behind you. You can hold your left forearm and your head is just close to the arch of your right foot. Okay, slowly unravel and step back, down dog or vinyasa. And we'll just do the other side, left foot forward, back heel down, hands to the big toe side. So there's a lot of little tendons and ligaments that are in the way. So let's make them happy by just straightening the leg, walking the hands to the side, and dive under as you bend the leg. So it's pretty smooth. Do it 2 more times if you can. This is a little Susan Taylor cheat or adjustment. Helps me a lot to get put behind the head. So once you're comfortable with your shoulder under your knee, lift the hands. Make sure that your legs can support you. If you want the bind, your left palm is going to face the ceiling. So that when you go to bring your right arm around, you have a hand there just waiting to grab your right arm. Okay, and we'll slowly get out of there, vinyasa. Right foot up to the ceiling, inhale. Step almost all the way forward, exhale, but not quite. Lower the back heel and bring the hands to the long edge of the mat, both legs straight. So it's like what we just did. We're gonna bend the knee a little bit, dive the shoulder under and bind. And once you get bound, straighten the leg, bound triangle. So our leg straightening is making our rotation maybe a little bit hard, a little challenging. So we just do our best to press the left shoulder and ribs back together. And we'll slowly unbind, untwist, place the hands down, and option for Kaundinyasana exit. So it's an arm balance, the back heel up, and lean forward and lift the right leg. Once your right leg is up, big chaturanga with your arms and bring your hip toward your elbow, lift the back leg. So it's a lot of leaning. And from there you can join the legs for chaturanga. Okay, left leg high, inhale. Bring it forward some amount that you know is about your triangle. And we'll start to walk the hands to the side and just get the legs straight for a sec. Take a breath. And when you can, little bend in that left leg. Dive the shoulder under, bind, and press the leg back to get it straight. Lean the right shoulder back. And it's possible that you can't get the leg fully straight. That's fine. For right now, just prioritize the bind over the straight leg. Normally in a triangle, we would prioritize the straight leg over the arms. But for now, it's just a kind of playful thing. Try to get that bind. Okay, undo. Kaundinyasana. If you have any wrist issues, skip it. We're going to scoot that left foot forward. Eventually, it's so far forward, it's off the ground. Right ribs will be caught by your right elbow. Lift the back leg. And when you've had enough, vinyasa. Okay, let's bring the right foot forward. Anjaneyasana. Oof. Just like we did. This time we're going to have left hand to the foot and either keep your arms straight or bakasana grip. I'm going to spin around. So this grip is really tricky until it's not. So you hold the inside, your thumb is by your big toe. And you have to pull your foot in very close. Like my heel is basically touching my butt. It's at that point when your foot is that close that you can work on the rotation of the hand. So if your foot is not yet that close, it just means your quads need to open a little bit more. Might take a while. Okay, slowly let that go. Sitting back, we'll take Tiriang mukhaikapada, paschimattanasana. So that left leg is folded like a virasana, and we'll fold over the right leg. If you feel like you're tipping over, like falling to the right, just put your right hand on the floor as a kickstand. But keep pressing your right calf muscle into the floor. That's going to keep your legs straight. Okay, we'll rise up. We're going to rebend that right leg. Because I can't resist, Ekapada bakasana A. So it's a very nice place to get into it from here. So you're going to bring your armpit to this middle of your shin. If you were a boy, you might bring your armpit and your knee together. But for us, armpit to middle shin, then plant your hands and your right foot comes up, no problem. Lift the left knee and just start leaning forward. As you do, your hips will go up, your back foot will drag in. And at some point, it's up enough to get the leg up. And just vinyasa out of there when you want. The only thing you have to make sure is that you don't try kicking that leg up. You will avoid all strength building when you do that, which then makes it just take longer to finally get the pose.
Rachel, I didn't get it what you were doing with your right leg. Can you show it one more time, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
So the right leg is like this. And it's pushing down, shin bone into arm. And then another way to do it, instead of keeping the back leg straight, is just bend, knee to chest, and hang out here. But this shin pushing into that arm, that's really the key to keeping your butt lifted. Okay, so we have all of that on the other side. So we'll step the left foot forward for Anjaneyasana. And when you can, reach right hand back. And it's really nice chest opener, so if you don't want to take the bakasana grip, you're not really missing out, you're just getting something else. When you can, you pull the foot in. If you feel like it comes close enough, the swivel around becomes a little more natural. I like to put the pointer finger between big toe, second toe, to ensure that the palm is far enough back on the foot. I see a lot of people almost breaking their toes off because their grip is a little too far forward. So you want it on the bony part of your foot. It shouldn't hurt your toes. Okay, we'll let that go. We'll sit back for Tiriang mukhaikapada, paschimattanasana. You could also put your butt on a block. When you're ready, fold forward. Reach your chest forward, right armpit forward. Belly in. This pose comes pretty early on in primary series. Okay, so we'll rise up. You could either go forward into your Anjane to get into it, or another nice way is just bend your left knee. You're already now in a ball, basically. All the limbs are close to your core, so that's very helpful to the getting up portion. So left tricep to shin bone. Comme ça. Then hands down, the same as you would a down dog. Start to shift your way forward. Left foot up is real easy. Right knee up, pretty easy. So you could do your legs straight like I showed you before, or just start dragging your knee to your chest and try to get your foot off the ground. Make sure that you still know your name, your phone number. And you can try to get your legs straight. And we'll vinyasa. So there should be no moment where you're just losing track of everything and just concentrating only on that back leg lifting. Everything is calm, controlled, steady. Okay, right foot forward. Back knee down. And we're going to creep the feet a little further apart. You can either move your front foot or your back knee. So it's that long version that we did before, hands to the hips. Pause for a breath or two, elbows back. Okay, fingers down. We're going to back up a little bit. Flex the front foot and spiral the toes. Let's bring both hands inside of the leg. Spiral the toes to the right. Then rebend. So now you're in this weird variation on pigeon where your knee is dropping open and you're on that nice edge of the right foot. Feel free to stay just like this. Support yourself with your hands. Or bend your back leg, find it with your right hand, and pull it in toward you. So as your left heel comes to kick you in the butt, you're still bending your front leg as much as you can to get your hips closer to the ground. It's kind of a doozy. You could also try it from your forearm. I don't feel much difference, but you might. Okay, we're gonna slowly unravel. We're gonna again sit back on our butt, just to the side of the arch. So I'm gonna show this off my mat. Sometimes it seems like it's too dark on the mat. So you're not sitting on your foot, but your hip and foot are very close together. Okay, right leg up, Krounchasana. So it's pretty similar to the fold you just did. Still a hamstring stretch. You can point your toes and look at them and use your arms to pull your leg in. Okay, straighten the arms, let the leg stay there and just frame the leg with the arms. If that's too much, hold on. And notice how much that hip flexor has to work. Okay, put the foot down, bakasana, or just downward dog. So if you are trying to arm balance, get set up, armpit to shin, and just practice pushing the shin into the arm. At some point, your back leg will lift, but it's really a function of pushing down, leg into arm, in order to get your hips up. And let's just meet in downward dog so we can do all of these things on the other side. Okay, left foot steps forward. Anjaneyasana. Just normal for a moment. And creep the feet and knee a little further apart, foot and knee. So now it's that longer one, takes more control. And then hands to the big toe side. Flex your foot. I like to unbend the front leg a little bit when I spiral the toes out, and then just rebend. So we have the nice edge of the left foot on the ground, and the knee just dropping away from us, any amount. Ooh. So this is my tight side. So I'm assessing, do I want to bend that back leg? I'm going to do it to start at least and see how it goes. So the left hand can come to the back foot, and you pull the back foot in to your right sitting bone so that the knee is not really tweaked at all. And make a choice, palm or forearm. Okay, slowly let that go. And we'll find Krounchasana. So the butt comes down just inside of that right arch. Left leg up. Hold the foot. And try to roll your shoulders back. Try to lean forward more than you want to. And let the arms straighten, float the leg in space. And when you can, either vinyasa or come through your arm balance. And just don't be too eager, because this, have a look-see up here real quick. I see this a lot. If you do that, it'll take like 3 times as long to ever get the pose, if you could ever get it. So as you're approaching it, think hips up. And just practice hips up. The right leg is going to float on its own at some point. Don't worry about it. Just worry about that hip positioning. Dope. We'll meet in downward dog. Let's bring the thumbs together, center of the mat, and feet outside of the hands. So we're just in this weird long or weird wide stance. Let's bend the knees. Bring the right shoulder under the right knee and bind around that right leg. And try to straighten the legs. You'll find that it's pretty easy to get the left leg straight and the right leg maybe not. And bend both knees, undo the arms, and try the other side. So we're just slipping that left shoulder inside of the knee and wrapping around. And twist as you straighten the leg. And slowly unravel. Let's bend both knees so we're just in a squat. And then take a seat, butt to the ground. Bharadvajasana. So we'll start with the right leg first in just a baby cradle. This is a prep. Make sure this is comfortable. If it's not, stay there for a little bit longer. When you can, half lotus with the right leg. Virasana with the left leg. So the same thing we just did. Folds back. Knees about mat's width. Left hand under the right knee. Lean toward that hand so that you can get your whole palm down. So it's not just like your fingers stuck under the knee, your palms facing out. The palm is literally on the ground. So once you're there, start to arch your back a little bit and curl into a twist. That right hand can come behind your back and hold your big toe. And try to keep pushing your left hand down into the floor. Your right knee is essentially doing that for you. Okay, slowly unravel. And we'll bring ourselves to a number 4 pose. Right foot flexed on the left lower thigh. And it's really tempting to go all the way to your back here. Instead, use your fingertips on the floor to try to lean your torso forward, chest towards shin bone. If you can stay balanced, wrap around your legs. You can just interlace your fingers. All right, we're gonna take this to flying pigeon. Most of you can just do it from here. You can also just stand up and meet us in flying pigeon. So your left ankle is just gonna flex a lot. The heel will pop up as you move your fingers forward. And as you lift your butt, your heel will just go down again. And there you are. Lift the hands if you want, or just keep them down. And make sure everything feels comfy. Stay for one more breath here. We're going to turn it into eagle, but in a very intentional way. So first, just rise up with the hands to prayer. So when we go to an arm balance from here, this ankle cannot move from its location on your thigh. Right now, we are going to intentionally let it move and bring the thighs together. Then hook the foot. Normally, I always have to yell at students about zip tying their legs together. So this is just an exception. Right arm under left if you want. Hands to prayer. Lift the elbows up. Lean back a little bit. Squeeze the limbs. And we'll slowly untwist everything. Reach up. And exhale to fold forward. Cycle through your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward dog. And if you want, practice jumping through and have a seat. Left leg baby cradle. So first, just make sure that your hip is okay with this. Because if it's not okay with this, a half lotus is probably not a great idea just now. When you can, half lotus the left leg, virasana the right leg, And add the twist. Right hand under left knee, so your wrist is in a pretty open position here. Left arm can come behind the back. And it's like that right shoulder is leaning over the hand. Then curl with your upper back and start to twist. Okay, we'll slowly get out of there. Slide the ankle to the lower thigh and bring that right heel close to your butt. Walk your hands in. If you can, bring it around. Okay, into flying pigeon. Notice that your butt is up higher than your right knee. Okay, we'll turn it into eagle. We'll rise up and we'll let the foot slide. Hook it if you can behind your ankle. Left under right. Palms together if you can. You can always interlace your fingers. That sort of helps keep the palms together, especially if it's kind of a new position for you. Okay, so we'll slowly get out of there. Straight legs, arms up, inhale, and fold, exhale. Halfway up, inhale, and step or jump back, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, and downward facing. Let's bring the thumbs again to the center so that we can step outside the hands. We just basically moved our hands out of the way. So we're going to start the same way we did before with that right shoulder under the knee. But this time, instead of binding like we did before, we're going to place our hands behind the heels. Then step your left foot behind your hands. So only the right foot is in front. Your left leg will just come into bakasana like you've done a million times. Your right foot, you're going to scoochy, scooch, scooch it forward until it lifts off the ground. So the left leg is in a very familiar place. The right leg is just in this crazy hamstring stretch. When you're ready, both legs to bakasana, and then you just exit through the vinyasa. So for most people, the hardest part about that is knowing where the limbs go. And there's a million ways you could think about it, and different ways in. In case that way didn't work for you, we're going to do it a different way now. So let's just step our feet behind our hands. And we're going to then bring our right knee to our right arm, like we would normal bakasana. And we'll step our left foot in front of our left hand. Then you lift your toes off the floor of your back foot. Drop your butt a little bit and start to creep your left foot forward. There's still the element of leaning forward like you would in pretty much any other arm balance. So the exit is through a bakasana with both legs bent to vinyasa. And it's not the neatest bakasana. So don't worry about it looking super pretty. It's a transition place. Let's bring our feet through our hands, sitting on the butt. Purvatanasana. Soles of the feet together, or in Ashtanga land, we open them like a book. Some schools, they stay together the whole time, but you might notice when you open them, the knees go closer to the floor. And then the chest to the feet, and the head is out somewhere in front of the feet. Okay, lift the chest. Virasana A. Right foot by your right hip. If you want B instead, feel free to go for it. We're going to try to bind low on the shin bone so that our hands are very comfortably together near that right hip. Belly in. Let's rise up, unravel the arms, lean back, and lift the legs. And we'll just be here for a few breaths. Okay, Virasana A, the other side. These are really great hip openers. So, you know, if you feel like you have tight hips, do this a lot. Do all of these a lot. Maybe practice yoga 5 times a week. You could use a strap if your hands can't bind. Okay, and we'll rise up and meet again in that boat pose. Let's take it to low boat so that our back is closer to the floor. Just flatten the belly a bit. Pretend your belly button wants to touch the ground. And then head and shoulders down, knees in. We're just going to bring our right ankle to our lower left thigh. You could let your left foot go on the ground. Super easy. Right knee away from you. So keep your right knee moving away. Just use the strength of your left leg to bring this whole unit toward you. So I'm just bending the left leg in order to get that right foot closer to the left shoulder. The right knee still moving away. And this is a little bit tricky here, but it's going to be a lot trickier when we do it in a moment from headstand. So I want you to just feel it now without having to worry about the headstand balance. Make sure this knee's moving away from you and this left leg is working hard. Okay, let that go. Change sides. Left foot on the lower right thigh. And it doesn't move from its location on your lower right thigh. It doesn't slide anywhere else on the thigh. And it's like our whole shin bone is just going to descend across our chest. And ideally, our foot and knee would touch our shoulders at the exact same moment. Okay, so this is the same thing we're going to do upside down. If this is difficult for you, maybe stay here and try it again each side from your back. Otherwise, let's come on up. And if headstand is not your game for neck issues, then don't try it like this. We're just going to do Bharadvajasana A, bound hands. So we're interlacing the fingers. That's where the Bharadvajasana comes in. We're bound. Lower the head. I'll face this way. And lift the legs at your leisure. When you feel like you're ready, you're going to just bring your right ankle to your lower left thigh. And it's going to do the same thing it did just moments ago when we were on our back. So that left leg is just going to start bending. And it's going to escort our shin bone toward our chest. As close as we can get it while keeping the balance. Stay as long as you want, and then you get to change sides. So you'll notice that as you go down, your back has to round a lot to get your chin close to your chest. And as you rise up, you have to work your abs like crazy. So take your time, make sure that you stay equal amounts of time on your right and left sides. And your way out could be through a chaturanga. I'm not going to do that because my cat is right there sleeping on her little nest. So I'm just going to bend the knees into the chest. And we'll meet in downward dog. Take your time. If you need a child's pose, do that first. There's no rush. Okay, and we'll start to walk our feet toward our hands. And whenever they're in the vicinity, bend the knees, roll up to standing. Okay. Theoretically, we're ready. Let's see. So right ankle to lower left thigh, just flying pigeon. Don't worry, just take a flying pigeon. And I want you to realize that your butt is pretty high. Have a look-see at your camera for a second. If I let my butt do this and drop low, it is so hard to get the arm balance. So keep your butt up. Okay, lower your hands to the floor, just like you would a downward dog. They're not right up next to your left foot, they're forward a bit. And you're gonna plant your right knee at your right upper arm. You're gonna wrap this right foot around your left arm. It's gonna push down and in, because it's holding your foot in two different directions. And once you're there, you're just gonna shift your weight forward. And just like in all your other arm balances, you just shift enough for your fingers to catch you. They will not let you fall on your nose. And then you can start to lift your left leg if you want. But it will only lift if you're keeping your hips high and you're pushing your leg into your arms. The knee into your right arm and the ankle into your left arm. Let's slowly rise up. Take your time if you're onto something. And let's just stand. Arms by the sides. Okay, let's try the other side. So there's a lot of details that you need to be on point about. The first one is this ankle unit. If it slides up or anywhere on the leg, pose is over. Start again. So when you can, your hands come down. When you can, your foot and knee attach to the arms and lean forward. And it's the bottommost point of the shin bone that's going to push into my right arm and allow that right leg to free up. Take your time. Be a little bit brave, but not too brave. And whenever you're done, we're just going to meet in a squat. You want to be brave enough that you feel a bit of progress over the months, but not so brave that you give yourself a bloody nose and then you lose all desire to try it again. Okay, have a seat on your butt. Double pigeon. Right leg on top. Chest to shin. If you were to look down, you'd see an equilateral triangle. Feet are flexed. Okay, we're rising up and we're going to either turn it into Ardha Matsyendrasana, which is this twist that you're quite familiar with. That, either stay there, or you're going to try to put this right foot behind your head. Your left leg can do whatever you want while you're negotiating this right foot. So you would bring the knee back, like it's going to touch the wall before your spine would touch the wall. And then you can kind of snake the head under. And it's similar to the pigeon in that we're trying to get our shin bone pretty much like level with the front edge of the mat, which Janie can do that, but I'm just working toward that. Okay, so wherever you are, slowly unwind, whether you're foot behind the head or you're twisted, let it go, and return to your squat. We'll do the other side of everything in a sec. We're going to try Ekapada Bakasana B one more time. So the trickiest part about this is where do your limbs go? So let's start this time with our left foot back in no man's land and our right leg forward. This looks like a very weird nothing pose. Hands will go kind of between them. Your right shoulder will come under your right leg, left knee on top of left arm. So you're going to think of Titivasana with your right leg and a bakasana with your left leg. The exit is actually harder than being in it. But it's the same idea as your flying pigeon. You have to get your butt up so that your right foot can clear the floor. And then you can vinyasa. Okay, let's come through to sitting so that we can do double pigeon, left leg on top. Flex your feet. When you go to the arm balance, your foot is flexed like crazy. If your foot starts to do this while you're in the balance and kind of moves toward pointed, you will just slip right off your arm. So while you're in a pose like double pigeon, it's a nice place to train your ankles so that when you're in a precarious arm balance, you know they're going to behave for you. Okay, so either Ardha Matsyendrasana, which would be your left foot coming outside of your right knee. You can hug the knee to your right shoulder, or you can hook your arm and attempt to hold your foot. That's a great twist from second series. It actually comes right before all the foot behind the head stuff. So foot behind the head, you're going to put your shin sort of parallel to the long edge of your mat and send it back. Once that gets comfy, you can snake the head under there, but you're going to try to push the head back. The left toes will be coming toward the right shoulder. By pushing the head back, we're sort of uncurling ourselves as much as possible. Okay, slowly get out of wherever you were so that we can attempt our arm balance one more time. We'll squat. So you might have realized there's not like a clean way in from here. So however you liked it, you can also, for those of you who feel like this is fine and you've got it, you can go from normal bakasana and then just try to straighten out the left leg. I'm wearing cotton pants, so it's like kind of grippy and makes the skin uncomfortable, but it's a nice way in. It's just a little bit harder. So when you're ready, you're going to return to bakasana, hips up, and vinyasa. Okay, let me just check on the clock. Okay, let's jump forward, and we're going to just try that flying pigeon one more time, and then potentially back bends, and we're done. So I've told you like 1,000 things to remember. As you're going into your pose, just go step by step. Hands down. Is that feeling okay? Can your left foot stay flexed? If not, you need to work on that before you can progress. If it's easy for you, left leg up, and you're going to just lower to touch the toes to the ground and lift them up again. Just a few times like that. And we'll vinyasa out of there. So fling your right leg back, chaturanga. So you'll notice there's no end, really. As soon as one thing starts feeling easy, I'll just bring you another one. Let's bring our feet forward. Make your way to your flying pigeon. And this is a pose that I pretty much do in every class. It's such a great pose. So stay there as long as you'd like. When you're ready, you bring your hands down and you start to deal with all this other stuff. When you feel like the balance is okay, you can start to play with that right leg, letting it lift and lower at your will. If you're doing lift and lower, go for 3, chaturanga out. paths will lead you to downward dog, no matter what else happened. Let's bring our right leg to pigeon. And just like we did it before, we'll be upright. So either fingers down or hand to thigh and foot. We're going to attempt a bakasana grip with the left leg, which we did before, but it's way harder in pigeon. If it's too much, return to that Anjaneyasana. So I like to look at the foot sometimes and bring it in. I'm feeling tight today, so I think this is a good entrance for me today. If I can see it and bring it in pretty close, I can control where that hand goes. Then the elbow will point up. Once that's all set, now we can just work to square up again to the front. So the left ribs will move forward as that shoulder moves up and back. So you end up with a great shoulder stretch. It is a quad stretch too, but once you get to a certain point in thigh flexibility, you won't even notice that really anymore in bakasana. You'll just notice your shoulders. Okay, let that go. Downward dog. And we'll change sides. Left leg forward for pigeon. And check that your knee is right behind your hip. Sometimes I look back at my pigeon and my leg is like off to the side, somewhere crazy. So you don't know what kind of crazy stuff it's doing unless you look at it sometimes. Okay, reach back when you can. So you don't have to look at your foot as you pull it in. That's actually not the right way in, quote unquote right way, but it works. So for some days, it's going to be the right way. There is a pose, I don't even know what series it's in, where people will put their toes in front of their ribs. It looks pretty crazy. It looks like they got some limbs detached and then like a pin the tail on the donkey style, somebody just threw all the limbs together into a blender and let it come out the other side. Okay, let's let that go. Downward dog. And let's go for knees, chest, chin. So we'll do this in lieu of Anahatasana. So knees down, then with your triceps, control it, coming down to your chest and chin. If it's too hard, walk your knees back. Not hard enough, walk your knees in. And when you can, if your chest is nicely resting on the ground, interlace fingers behind your back. Oy, oy, oy. This pose kills me, but I think it's helping. Okay, hands down. Slide forward and up into cobra, and downward dog for your exhale. Okay, oh Lordy. Let's bring our shins down and forward. Virasana into Supta Virasana. So we'll lay back. Just take a few breaths there, get comfy. Soon enough, it will be uncomfortable again because I'm going to add on. So just enjoy this while you can. You don't even have to worry about what's coming next. This is good practice for your life outside of your living room. Okay. We're going to bring our hands to our heels and prop ourselves up on the elbows, come to the crown of the head, and then lift your butt off the ground. So you have a nice arc from knees to crown of head. If you feel stable in your neck, hold opposite elbows and bring your forearms to the ground overhead. So you're pressing into your toes like crazy in order to get your hips up. And release hands to the floor Come down through Supta Virasana and rise up to regular Virasana. Step back, downward dog. Okay, one more thing from the shins, which is not that different from what we just did. We'll have a little seat between our feet, and we'll bring our hands down, fingers facing the toes. Roll your shoulders back. This is a variation on Purvatanasana. If you prefer Purvatanasana, just go into it instead. When you can, lift your hips. You can drop your head back, arms are straight, chest and shoulders opening like crazy, and legs working like crazy to lift your hips higher. Okay, slowly come on down. And let's undo the legs so we can lay back. Whew. In a lot of ways, I feel like that version is actually harder than Purvatanasana. And part of that is just because Purvatanasana is like unachievably hard. So at least this one, I have an idea what's happening. Okay, Bharadvajasana. Lift up. Breathe. Come just to the crown of the head. So you have 5 points of contact with the floor. 2 hands, 2 feet, and a head. Inhale up again. If you can, lift your right leg to the ceiling. Lower it, lift your left leg. Lower it, come to the crown of the head. If you'd like, cross your arms in front of your chest. You're still just on the crown of your head, you're still in the back bend. Hands come down, last Bharadvajasana, lift your hands, or lift your chest rather, lift your head. And now lift one hand, not both, one. Hand to thigh. Lower it down, other hand. Lower it down, and come all the way down to your back. Take a few breaths. Take out any ponytail thing you have. It's going to get in your way of having a happy neck. And let's bring the right thigh over the left, like eagle legs that we did before, but we're going to hold the ankles. And try to pull the ankles in toward your hips. Okay, unravel. Before we do the other side, hold the edges of your feet and just let your legs drop open. The weight of your arms will add a little bit to this stretch. Try to keep your legs straight. And release, bring the legs in, left on top of right. Hold the ankles. And pull the heels toward your hips. Okay, let that go. We're going to rock and roll up to sitting, and then do the same pose you did moments ago, but now from our butts. So we'll hold the edges of the feet, and we'll fold forward. And now gravity is not helping get your legs to the floor like when you were on your back. Now you have to use your leg strength quite a bit to keep your balance, to keep your legs from swaying in toward each other. Push your foot into your hand. And rise up, wiggle the legs together. Let's take a long Purvatanasana, a longer shape. So heels away from your pelvis, round your back, and bring your head to the arches of your feet. You could also have your hands under your feet if you want, or a block under your feet. That makes it pretty nice. Let's rise up. Keep the knees bent, but bring them together. Hands to the feet, chest on the thighs, drop the head. Then bring the feet about 12 inches further forward. And do the same thing. Chest to the legs, drop the head. And if you can, go to all the way straight legs. Same idea, chest to the thighs, drop the head. Depending on your back, you might feel crazy stretches pretty much all the way, like from neck to tailbone sometimes. I've felt things. Okay, so we'll slowly rise up. And unfortunately, time is not always our friend, so it is Shavasana time. Make yourself comfortable. Shri Guru Charana Sarojaraja Rijamana Mukuru Sudari Varnan Raghuvara Vimala Jasu Jodaya Kupalachari Buddhihina Tanu Jayake Sumiram Bhavana Kumara Balabuddhi Vidya Dehumohi Aramkule Sabikara Pavanatayana Sankataharana Mangala Murati Rupa Ramalakana Sita Sahita Hridaya Basa Husura Rupa Mangala Murati Marutananda Sankala Mangala Mulanukanda Mangala Murti Marutananda Sankala Mangala Mulanukanda Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Sitaram 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Use the next minute to deepen your Shavasana. Even if it's just on one exhale that you finally actually let go. And when you're ready, start to wiggle fingers and toes. And bring the knees in. Roll to the side. And sit up, eyes closed. Take a deep breath. Namaste.